touching without feeling. How did we get here? Lost with no direction. All the things I don't wanna feel. So I'm coming out the subway.
Say I'm coming out.
So many people passing by.
So many people.
And if they touch me, I won't notice because
you is what's on my mind.
there's something you need to know. Just something before I go. I'm walking away.
'Cause I can't keep going down this road in my life.
Don't beg me to stay.
Don't beg me to stay. 'Cause I can't, no, I won't do it, no.
I'm walking away.
Busy love is blind, but you have opened my eyes.
Don't beg me to stay.
'Cause I won't let my heart.
The times that I pray
Times that I pray.
find a love in you, but you don't love me.
You don't love me anymore.
So I guess there was no use. And now that I am leaving, you say you tell me that I can go. But baby, you need to know I'm walking away.
'Cause I can't keep going down this road in my life.
Don't beg me to stay.
Don't beg me to stay. 'Cause I can't, no, I won't do it, no.
I'm walking away.
Busy love is blind, but you have opened my eyes.
Don't beg me to stay.
'Cause I won't let my heart break again.
I'm walking away.
'Cause I can't keep going down this road in my life.
Don't beg me to stay.
Don't beg me to stay. 'Cause I can't, no,
I won't do it, no. I'm walking away.
Busy love is blind, but you have opened my eyes.
Don't beg me to stay. 'Cause I won't let my heart break again.
I'm walking
I'm walking away. Yeah.
this road in my life. Nothing else to
So beg me to stay. No, no. I'm walking away, away, away. And I won't let go. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like you're sick. All the friends that are watching from England, Ireland. I know some of you has been with me every day watching from those countries. Of course, a lot of the United States with Chicago, Texas, Kansas.
We had a problem with the mic, so you have to tell them hello everybody again.
Oh, we had a problem with the mic, so they told me that you didn't hear my hello. So, hello. This is Giada Valenti here from Las Vegas. Of course, you guys call these things Giada Live a television program, but it's not a program, it's a live streaming. So, we always have this funny technical problem. So, like today, the microphone that is here on top of me was not working. Since a couple of days, we are not using the clip mic, but we are using the shotgun, it's called, JJ?
Yeah.
the shotgun microphone, and Richard Hunger, that is my technician who is all the way there in Liverpool. He said the sound is much better, so I hope you guys can hear me clear. Ben arrivati a tutti, benvenuti. Se siete in Italia, buonasera, quasi buonanotte per voi, o anche in Francia. I always have people appearing from France, from Italy, from England, and of course, buongiorno, good morning to all of you watching from Australia. There are some of you waking up early in the morning, your early rises, people. You rise at 5 o'clock in the morning or 7. That's how early it is in Australia right now. But I think it's the day after, right? Or is it today? That's my question to you guys. So today is Monday in Australia for you guys, or is 5 in the morning of Tuesday? That's my question. So every day, everything that happened actually here on Monday is for you already happening on Tuesdays. How about that? That's kind of interesting how this world is made. So ben arrivati, benvenuti. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Even if it was a quarantine weekend, I hope you guys had a good time. Yesterday we had the From Home concert, and we streamed from Royal Albert Hall, or as I made after my live streaming, I made a video for my Patreon, and I called Royal Albert Home, because I'm still in my house. I wish I was in London and the Royal Albert Hall, but I was actually in the Royal Albert Home. So for the one of you on Patreon, I want to thank also in particularly also Anna Maria Carrillo that rise her support on Patreon. Thank you, Anna Maria, for your support. I made a special video yesterday for all my Team Awesome member, as I love to call them. If you want to know more, you can always go to patreon.com/Giada Valenti, and you can see what it is. It's special videos, special things I do for a small group of friends. But anyway, and yesterday I did also the concert. And you guys were, a lot of people. How many people were there yesterday, JJ? 16,000 people. So it was a lot of you guys. And we, yesterday the concert, of course, was dedicated to Mother's Day. I sang Senza Fine for my mom, and I spoke with my mom this morning, and she told me that she really loved it. So, because Senza Fine means endless in Italian, Senza Fine. And mom loved, because it's one of her favorite songs, and I thought it was appropriate because the love for a mother to their child is endless, senza fine, and so is also the love for a daughter to her own mom. So if your mom is here or if your mom is in heaven, doesn't matter, because that love stands forever. So I'm doing every day also some sign language. I even didn't have the time. I was so busy to communicate with Diane Fiorentino, who teach me sign language every day. So today I can only say, today, this is Giada from Las Vegas, and I love you all. And you have been with me for 55 days, and we have become friends, and now we were friends, and now we are family. You are part of my extended family. And for the one of you that are not aware, this is also the sign for a singer, and it's what I am. Even though I'm talking to you right now, I am a singer. I had a very nice weekend and a very short night. Me and my chief editor, Doug Hartline, in Sacramento, we went to bed around 2 o'clock in the morning because we were communicating through email to prepare the shows. I made my friend Doug, is like, I call him the human Wikipedia. You know that I'm always saying that I take all my knowledge from Wikipedia. When I do my concert, I crack up everybody. I make you laugh because I tell all the story and I say, I've read on Wikipedia. Now I also have a human Wikipedia, which is Doug. Doug knows everything about movies, histories, and all kind of events. So I made him chief editor. So he's gonna, I don't even have to make research anymore. I just called Doug, and Doug told me. So last night until 2 in the morning, we were preparing the show for the next week, this coming week. So this is what is so special about today, thanks to Doug Hartline, my chief editor, who is in Sacramento. And sorry, Doug, I'm wearing flowers and not polka dot, because Doug is also a fashion guru, and every week he celebrates some celebrity wearing some specific things, and flowers was last week. This week was polka dot. And I mean, I had already decided to wear my flowers to go to Rome, and I'm sorry, Doug, so I'm not, maybe tomorrow I can surprise you with some polka dot. So today is May 11, so this is what happening history-wise. Today in 330 AD, so we're talking about 1700 100 years ago in Italy, Constantinople was became the capital of the Roman Empire 1700 years ago. And that's the beautiful picture of Constantinople. Of course, still exists and stand the city, but with a different name. And in the United States today, the first hospital was founded by in Pennsylvania, actually in Philadelphia. I'm sure that they are Philadelphia people. It was founded by Benjamin Franklin, and Doug also visited the hospital. Look how beautiful the hospital still stands, and that was the first United States hospital ever built. And also very nice, I love movies, and my latest show is songs from the movie. And also Doug told me that today, in 1927, Louis Mayer created the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts, basically the academy that still exists and stand with the Oscar. So today the Oscar started, and that was the meeting. All the guys with Louis Mayer that created the Academy Award. So in 1927, how many years ago is that, guys? To you to make the calculations. And of course, May 11 today. Doug told me there are so many birthdays, and we picked up together only a few that I thought were relevant from the fact that I am Italian and I live in the United States. So today we are going to celebrate the birthday of Irving Berlin. Irving Berlin was one of the greatest American songwriters, and actually George Gershwin, there is Irving, he said he was the greatest songwriter that ever lived. And some other famous musician, they said that Irving Berlin does not have a place in the American music. He is the American music. So because he wrote songs, all the songs from the White Christmas, but of course he wrote God Bless America, which I think will be appropriate to sing not this weekend, the next weekend, since we will be celebrating Veterans Day. And he wrote so many music. He was actually born in Russia, and I read that when he wrote God Bless America, he wrote it, of course, for Kate Smith in 1938. He had already wrote the song actually 20 years earlier, and it was really a personal song to him because he was born in Russia, in Siberia, and he moved here as a young child, and he wrote God Bless America because that's what America was for him, the land of opportunity, and he wrote it moved by his personal sentiment of gratefulness for this country, which it's very, very special. And also today is also was born in Florence, Valentino Clemente Ludovico Garavani. That's the real name, but we all know him as Valentino, the most iconic fashion designer. He was born in Milan in 1932, so happy birthday to Mr. Valentino. He still lives in Milan, by the way. And today would have also been a birthday of Corey Monteith, which we all remember, this young guy, good actor and singer from Glee, that was born in 1982, and unfortunately he passed away in 2013 already. Due to some problem he had with overdose and alcohol. So happy birthday in heaven to Corey. I'm sure he's singing among the angels. So these were the birthday of today. And before we go to Italy, and I share with you today I want to share with you, when we go to Italy, 5 secrets of living la Dolce Vita. Because many people always say to me that I seems to be so uplift and happy and always dressed up to the part. And I think it's something that when you are Italian is in your DNA. So today I want to share a couple of those things with you. But before that, I want to sing a song. Today was, as I said, was the birthday of Irving Berlin, that was born in 1888. And he wrote so many beautiful songs. And I decided to sing for you this song, and I sang it already in a couple of weeks ago at one of my concerts. It's a Christmas, was it in the White Christmas, the movie? But actually, it's a song that we can sing every day. And when I did my concert, since this coming week, Thursday, I'm going to have as my guest Mike Marino, comedian. The last concert I did in December, Mike Marino was my MC, and he. Let's test this microphone, and I invite Mike Marino to come on stage to do this song with me. Actually, I was he was playing Rosemary Clooney, and I was playing Bing Crosby. So it was a very funny moment when we were singing this song. And as I said before, God Bless America was written by Irving Berlin, and he said he wrote it because of this feeling of gratitude that he had for the United States. And I think Arvin Berlin personally was one of the greatest songwriters because every time he was writing things we can all understand. Like, I'm a big lover of country music. And I think we all love country music for the simplicity of the items, the stories they tell in their song. Like this song that I'm gonna sing for you in a second that Arvin wrote was a song that was presented by the 20th Century Fox executive for the movie The White Christmas with a letter. And this is the letter that Arvin wrote. I'm sending you lyrics of a song I just finished here and which I am going to publish immediately. You always have said that I commercial my emotions and many times you were wrong. But in this particular song is based on what really happened to me. This is gonna be me and you, Doug, last night that we couldn't sleep that much. As I say in the lyrics, some times ago, after the worst kind of sleepless night, my doctor came to see me, and after a lot of self-pity, belly hacking, and complaining about my insomnia, he looked at me and said, speaking of doing something about your insomnia, did you ever try counting your blessings? This is how the song Count Your Blessing was introduced to the movie. So let's go a second back in 1888 and sing Count Your Blessing in honor of Arvin Berlin. When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep, counting my blessings. When my bankroll is getting small, I think of when I'd none at all, and I fall asleep, counting my blessings. I think about a nursery, and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them as they slumber in their beds. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep, and you fall asleep, counting your blessings. Thank you. Something we should do all the time, not only on Christmas time, right? Counting our blessing, and we all have so many blessings. Some of mine, of course, are all of you appearing this every day. My parents, my mom and dad. Today, I spoke with my mom and dad. I was a little bit mad with my mom and dad today because they had some medical issues lately. Lately, when I say lately, was 3 months ago. And I've heard of it only today because for my mom, I'm still 5 years old and I need to be protected by the truth. So, Mom, I love you. Mamma, ti voglio bene, ma non voglio più che mi dici bugie. I don't want my mother to lie to me. So if something happened, I would love to know. And of course, I'm mad also with my brother Roberto. Sono arrabbiata con mio cugino, con Elisabetta, che è un'infermiera che doveva farmi sapere, con tutti i miei zii, with all my aunt and uncle. They were supposed to let me know about all these medical issues going on with my parents. And my mom is very clever. I told you, I see her every day with my dad on FaceTime, you know, the camera. But sometimes she said, oh, I'm just lying in bed. The camera is facing the ceiling. That's why I was not able to see them when they were going through these things. So my mother broke a leg. My father injured his shoulders. My father fell and injured his face a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't see it. My mother even cut one of his eye with a knife. sounds like a comedy routine, but actually this is really what happened. So my mother was always showing me F over face, so I couldn't see the other eyes that had surgery. So Diane, is not only you having trouble with the eyes, and I was telling my mother every day about all my friends' trouble, the coronavirus troubles, and my mother, she's a good actress. For 3 months she didn't make me feel nothing, like everything was great. So I said, from now on, when I'm gonna see my parents, I'm gonna scan them with the iPad. Come ho detto oggi, cari mamma e papà, da oggi in poi voglio vedervi davanti l'iPad e vi scannerizzo dalla testa ai piedi per controllare che avete 2 mani, 2 piedi, 2 occhi and everything. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I know, right? It's funny how parents, mothers, fathers, they are super protected of us. Me, on the other hand, if something happened to me, I'm always share it first with my parents because I know they are my rock and they are gonna say everything is gonna be fine. On the other hand, I've learned my parents don't do that. So, that said, guys. Oh, by the way, Saturday we were in the kitchen, right? We cooked, and some of you tried my recipe, and I'm so grateful, guys. You are making me so proud. But you know, more and more people now, they see this live video and everybody wants to go live in the kitchen and try to do something. So this morning I was laughing by myself because I saw this video of this woman that I said to JJ, hey, look, she looks like my mother. She's very good. She's making bread. She's in Mexico. She's baking bread, and you can see from the way she handled the farina and she's talking in Spanish, of course. I said, hey, she really is good. And look what happened in the video. I think it's so hilarious, funny. Let's see if JJ can find the video. Look at this. So this is in Mexico. This lady is doing a live video. She's showing us how to make a pizza, because it looks like a pizza. So, and she's saying, you do this, you put the flowers, you turn it around, and then she said, let's do this. Look what happened. Here we go.
Salió mal el pancito. Perdón, corte.
As you can see, she wants the husband or whoever is filming to close right away the live video, but she doesn't understand it's live. So this video went viral. So I said to myself, this has not happened to me yet. I say yet because I am a singer in sign language and I am not a chef. So I'm not a chef. Sometimes I cook. That's why some people of you said, oh, you make all this good food that I want to try to make. And I always say, listen, if I can make it, Giada Valenti the singer, surely you all people at home can do it. I've been telling everybody, and it proves because some of my guests actually made my tiramisu. Jane Kramer, my friend magician, made, you remember, the baci di dama. And all of you, Joseph and Janet and Lisa, you guys all made my pasta. Actually, Saturday when we're going to be in the kitchen, we are going to make something with fennels. I asked when I was cooking 2 weeks ago if you guys love the fennels, and you said that you guys liked it. So we're going to be make something delicious with fennel. Janet will show the cart with the recipe later. But today I want to take you to Italy. Italia è lunedì. Lunedì in Italia, andiamo in Italia. We go to Italy. Andiamo in Italia. I don't know how to say with sign language, but probably is andiamo in Italia. I don't know. We Italian, we always talk with hands. I only know that it is today. Today, andiamo in Italia. So you see on the back Rome. Last Friday I took you to Rome and I showed you everything I love and like about Rome. And by the way, if you have missed the episode, you can always go back on giada.live. I know that many of you do that. And you can see all the episode if you have missed anything of the things. So today I want to take you in generally in Italy. How many times when they do the interview with me or they see me somewhere, they always say, wow, you're so Italian. But I was wondering what is mean being so Italian. And then when I try to analyze the way we Italian handle things, it's true, we have a way of being Italian, which it's funny because even when I meet friends that are Italian American, some of you, they're born here, born and raised here, like Frankie Scinta was my guest, do you remember? And still he has so many traits of being Italian. It must be like in a DNA. So I want to give you today something that I call myself here, the 5 secrets of living La Dolce Vita. La Dolce Vita, of course, was a movie that was made by Federico Fellini with, well, we all know the movie, And we know the story, the paparazzi, the love scenes, of course, in the Fontana di Trevi. Do you remember I show you everything about that? Fontana di Trevi means the fountain of the three streets, Trevi, Trevie. So we all know that, right? But what is actually La Dolce Vita? Well, La Dolce Vita, I think, is just being Italian, because I came to realize that when I see the difference between me, for instance, and my husband, who is Dutch, we are fundamentally very different. And we're both European, because JJ is from Amsterdam, I'm from Venice. Look at that. Every time we see something beautiful, we enjoy it to the fullest. So 5 ways to say that you are Italian. First of all, I would say that if I have to pinpoint something, number 1 will be food. Food, we say in Italy, is fuel for the soul. E cibo per l'anima, fuel for the soul. And it's true. I remember when I brought for the first time my husband, Dutch, to my family, for me it was normal that during breakfast we were talking about lunch. What shall we eat for lunch? And during lunch we were talking what shall we have for dinner. My husband, on the other hand, being Dutch, he was like, what is all we are eating and you're already talking about next? Because yes, we Italian, we really live to eat. You know, there is a saying here that they say that, se devo tradurlo in inglese, so the whole world eat to survive and we survive to eat. Quindi tutto il mondo mangia per sopravvivere, noi sopravviviamo per mangiare. It's true, everything is about food. I told you that when I was studying the old Romans' habits, I found out that in Rome, when we were translating the things that they were writing, so 1700 years ago, that already by then the Roman, they loved their food so much that they were puking food, so they were able to have extra food, you know. So if they have the pasta, the meat, and the French fries, and wherever they had, and they couldn't, the stomach could not accommodate all the food, they were puking the food out to put. It's kind of sick if you think about it. So it started already with the Romans, the Roman Empire. So we are talking about 2,000 years ago, and nothing has changed, because in Italy, food is everything. So, you know, when I organize this trip to Italy, though, I see also the people that come with me, that they start to understand what I'm talking about, because food in Italy is like magic. Food in Italy, first of all, it doesn't matter where you go, is great everywhere. For the fancy restaurants where you pay top dollars, to, let's say, what we call paninoteche per i camionisti, you know, restaurants for the truck drivers. That actually where you get the best food for a penny. For really euros, you get to eat the best food. But food is very important for us Italian, and it started from the way we approach food. Everything is made fresh from scratch, so we don't buy much food. In Italy, they're not so very popular, you know, those stuff that you can warm up in the microwave. No, we don't do much of that. We really have, all of us in Italy, we have like a little garden. Even if you don't have a garden, we have like a garden with vegetable in our balcony. It's a normal thing. If not only in Naples, you will see it in Venice. Next time you go to Venice, some people have little balconies. Look up and you will see that they have like a basilicum, of tomatoes. It's something that we really like. We like to have our own fresh vegetable. And of course, pasta, we can buy it at the supermarket, but a lot of ladies, like you saw the video I just showed you, we make it from scratch. For instance, my mom makes pasta, make bread, made pizza. My mother is very famous actually for making pizza for everybody in the family. And sometimes my little nephew Alessandro has a party with his friends and he asked my mother to make pizza for 30, 40 kids. And my mother is very me, I mean, I would mess up my whole kitchen, and I'm honestly, I'm gonna be like a kind of a disaster. My mother can do it in her little small kitchen, but she started as a child, you know. My grandmother, my grandfather was a baker, so for them making bread and making pasta is like a way of living. And of course, what I'm always say, I prepare actually also some picture. What I love about our love for food, even though nowadays you can be in the north and find a recipe that is originally from the south of Italy, I'm always say when I visit a certain place, in Italy, we're all aware of where the best food is, certain kind of food. For instance, if you are in Venice, you can find any kind of food, but of course, famous in Venice are the risotto with fish, anything with fish. So I'm always say, when you are in Venice, you remember I told you, try to find a restaurant outside the big streets and find little restaurant where you can find gondolier and listen, people that speak Italian, Venetians, they have, it sounds like Spanish, and you don't have a waiters normally on the door inviting you in. If you go to places like that, I'm sure JJ can find also pictures, you're gonna find delicious food with fish. I mean, we are famous actually in Venice for risotto, because risotto needs water to grow up. So we have those famous things. That's Venice. So that's Capesante on the sign. There's a beautiful, delicious risotto with different kind of frutti di mare, we call it. So fruits of the sea, which is all kind of different fishes. If you go to Venice, I'm always say you have to eat fish. But if you go, for instance, in Tuscany, in Florence, which is going to be one of the places we're going to stop in October next year when we go to my trip to Italy. Well, Florence is famous for the meat. They have the best, they call it actually, they have a big piece of meat, you see there on the right, they call it Fiorentina, which it's an oversized piece of steak that melts in your mouth like it's made of butter. Can you feel? I mean, I think only an Italian can talk about food like it's something magical, but it's true. I mean, we all eat meat every day, but the Fiorentina in Florence really melts in your mouth, and it's because the le mucche, the cows that are eating the grass around Tuscany. I mean, they get the best grass, the sun, they get la Dolce Vita too, so their meat is delicious. And then again, if you are not a carnivore and you don't like meat, then in Florence you're gonna be it's going to be tough for you to find anything that is not made with meat. They are famous for meat. But then, for instance, you go more to, let's say, the other side of Venice. The other side, you find Liguria, which Genoa is another city on the sea. I have to take you there with one of these Giada Live too, because it's a spectacular place. They're famous for songwriting, music, but also they are famous for the pesto and the pasta. Many chefs, they say that you cannot talk about pasta unless you have learned how to make pasta in Liguria, in Genova. That's pasta with pesto. They grow up not many vegetable, only artichokes and basilicum, but they made the pesto from scratch. My mother also does it. I've never done it personally myself, so it's basilicum, pinoli, and garlic, and olive oil, and some Parmesan cheese, and they make the most delicious pesto. So if you are in Genoa or in Liguria, which is the other side of, on the top of Italy, you have to have pasta. But then, of course, if you go more to the south and you are in Rome, like we are today, I told you already, you have absolutely forget about not eating carbs. You had to eat their pasta. They are famous in Rome for the bucatini. Any bucatini, which is a little bit thick pasta with a hole inside with sauce, alla matriciana, alla puttanesca, even carbonara, cacio e pepe. There are so many delicious recipes. They are so simple to make also at home. One by one, I have to teach you all to make them all because actually, you remember I told you it takes only no more than 4 ingredients, and that doesn't count oil, salt, and pepper of peperoncino or garlic. So they're very easy to make. It's very simple, very light. Some amatriciana, actually, I made it. Actually, I have to say hello on Instagram to Natalie in Cincinnati from the televisions over there. I made it once on a Cincinnati morning show, and Natalie was watching my concert yesterday. Yes, I would love to come back. Maybe I should do a live from my kitchen here in Las Vegas and cook something for you guys in Cincinnati. But I made pasta alla matriciana for Natalie maybe 2 years ago when the earthquake in Amatrice happened. And Natalie, she's a very skinny, beautiful presenter. She didn't try the tiramisu I made in the first hours, but then she ate my pasta alla matriciana, and she was saying, this is the best pasta I've ever had. And I must say, the pasta alla matriciana, if it's well made, is one of the most delicious. Not very light for the body, so I'm surprised that Natalie there in Cincinnati, she's very skinny, but she had a whole plate. And actually, when the news started, I wanted to clean up the desk of the cooking, and I was taking the plate to throw it away. And I will never forget, Natalie was about to go live on the news, and she said, "No, don't touch my pasta." Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So it was fantastic how she did it. She really loved my pasta. So thank you, Natalie, for watching the concert, and I hope to be back in Cincinnati in body and soul very soon, but maybe we can do something with live streaming, cooking something or singing something. So, and then of course, so if we are in Rome, we're gonna eat pasta. But if we go to Naples, well, if we go to Naples, we have to eat pizza. I know we can eat pizza everywhere, but believe me, ladies and gentlemen, pizza in Naples is only in Naples. They have a way to make the bread, the tomatoes that grow up under the sun. As I told you, I think that everything is more tasteful and tastes better in Italy because they are experiencing la dolce vita and the good life every second of the day, even the vegetable, even the animals, everything, the sun, the sunshine, everything goes slow. I lived in New York City for 11 years and I didn't realize that slowly but surely I had become a little bit more New Yorker. And I noticed when I was going in the summer to visit my parents, and we were going for a stroll in Venice or in Portogruaro, where my parents reside now, and we were going and sitting down for a coffee. And after 5 minutes, if the coffee was not arriving, I was like, "Where's the waiters?" My mother said, my parents were looking at me like, "What's your problem?" It's true, because I had become a New Yorker. Everything needs to happen at the second. And then, of course, I noticed every time. We were once in Miami with JJ and we were ordering a sandwich in line for like 20 minutes, and the guy in front of us, after 20 minutes in line, he was a Mexican because they're just like us. And he started to look at the sign and he said, "What shall I have?" And I remember me and JJ, that we have become New Yorker, we said, "Excuse me, you've been in line for 20 minutes and you haven't even checked what you want to have." The whole place turned to us and they said, "Are you guys from New York?" Can you believe it? And we felt like, oh my gosh. And they've told me, it said, indeed, that after 10 years living in New York, you became a New Yorker. And I kind of, yeah. And so when I go to Italy, I like detoxicate myself from everything and I start to be Italian again. So it takes 20 minutes before you are done with your coffee, 2 hours before you're done with lunch and dinner, and it's really, that's what we do. But another special things that we have in Italy, if I have to describe what we really have in the DNA, it's fashion. Fashion is a way of living for us. I never realized that, but then I noticed the last time I was in Italy, I posted and sunglasses. JJ is showing pictures of sunglasses. I noticed that my mother, when she goes to the gym, she prepares herself like she's going to an event. She puts the makeup, she puts her fancy clothes, and so are my hands. And it's a generational things. I think it has to do with something also typical of Italy, la bella figura, the way we look, to look good. It's important what people think about us. And it's so true, because I mean, I become a little bit more American, I should be aware, but sometimes if I want to go out in Venice wearing something, my mother looked at me and said, "Are you going out like that?" I said, "Yeah, but I'm going to pick up bread." And my mother said, "Yes, but people will see you." So it's really an Italian thing, the bella figura. We have to look good, bella figura. And as you see on the picture, it's a generational things. We have it really in the DNA. So you will see in Italy fancy people. Look at that. This is an older gentleman in the city of Milan I photographed, and everybody is dressing up the part, even though maybe those gentlemen or this gentleman is just going out for a stroll. We dressed up the part. And actually it's also something that the way of dressing, it's something that I realized we only have it in Italy. I thought everybody had it. It's called spezzato, which is broken actually. You know, in America, men tends to wear suits. In Italy, a lot of gentlemen, when they want to be fancy, but you know, without being too much fancy, they wear what is called spezzato, which basically the jacket is different than the pants. And that's what they call it. It's something that, I mean, you see it all over Europe, because I'm saying Italy, but everywhere in Italy they took that fashion. And Italian men also, I noticed that we love to have a touch of color in our clothes. I didn't realize that. They made me notice, because some of my friends, American friends, they said, "Oh, I saw a picture you're posting and your friends are wearing red pants, green pants," which is true, a red jacket. We never wear one color. We like to have a pop of coloring wherever we went. This is pictures of friends of mine. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, we love colors. I think it has to do that there is the sun. We are enjoying life. It's la dolce vita. So we think that to have even in a show we pop colors. Sometimes even myself, I never realize I'm wearing all black, and then voila, I am wearing something with color. Can be a bag, can be my shoes, can be earrings, can be something I need to have, can be my nail polish, has to be something has to have a little bit of color. And we love shawls. I never realized, but when the COVID-19 started, I was cleaning my closet, reorganizing my closet, and I found out so many scarves. So many scarves. But then, of course, when I was preparing for these things today, I said it's true. Wear scarves even in the summer. Maybe we don't put it we don't put it around our neck. We use it to make dresses or something. But look at even Maestro Andrea Bocelli. Andrea is always wearing a scarf. Actually, I had that discussion with him because he was wearing one also when we performed together, and it was not very particularly cold during the day. But we kind of love it. We think it's just something that gives us like a, I don't know what you want to call it, but maybe it's comfortable, and we're not all singers or performers in Italy, but we all we think it's fancy, and and we love fancy sunglasses. This morning when I was working on preparing these things, JJ, you just for fun, you should saw. I went through my social media picture, and without realizing, I think I have millions of pictures of me and my family, that's JJ and my mom, wearing sunglasses. I own so many sunglasses. I'm blessed that most of the time I got them sponsored by Italian brands. They asked me to wear those glasses and just tell everybody what I'm wearing. But look at that, how many sunglasses I do have. And actually I put them all in boxes, and then after a little bit I forget, but because sometimes I pick up glasses that I wore 10 years ago, and they're still fancy. Because, Giorgio, can you find that picture? You saw the first glasses that I was wearing, the black one, that actually from Bulgari. I found the pictures of actually 1960 where they were filming La Dolce Vita, and there is an actress wearing the exactly same kind of shades. So it's really true that they say that no, that's not that. That's me just chilling out. This morning I think I found at least 200 pictures of me wearing glasses, doing nothing. And that doing nothing is always when I'm in Italy, because when I'm here I never have time to do nothing. I'm always doing something. That's also, I'm strolling in Venice, and look, every time I have a different pair of shades. And somehow also I can tell you that sometimes you can buy shades for really cheap money. And now everything is closed, but I'm very clever in like we all are. We can buy sometimes for $5, $10 very fancy glasses, and I do own a lot of brands, but I also normally they were given to me, but I also own a lot of glasses. So I know you guys, every time I post picture, you guys ask me which kind of pictures were that one. JJ is still looking for the pictures from the movie La Dolce Vita, and they were wearing the same kind of shades, but of course shades never go out of shape. I think they are reinventing themselves like fashion. They changed something little, and that's me in Venice. Actually, those were Bulgari glasses that I wore last summer. And it's funny because I said I wore last summer, because I remember exactly which here are those pictures, because every time I go to Italy I go to visit my family, but I always combine my vacation in Italy to work on something, either filming something for the American television or something for the Italian thing. So, and every time, because of that, I'm endorsed by sunglasses company, and I remember those one were Bulgari. And you should know, when I say endorse, sometimes they give it to me and I have to return them at the end of the seasons, because then they give me the new seasons one. So some of them I don't own them anymore, and unless I really fall in love, then I beg them to please give it to me. Sometimes they do, sometimes they cannot do it because they need to go back, and then I think they sell them for all of us on eBay, and sometimes I rebuy them for cheap somewhere when I really fall in love with something. So that's my obsession with sunglasses, and it's something that really I found also a lot of pictures of me, for instance, with my Dutch family, and me and JJ is. I am the only one wearing the sunglasses. All the family is wearing glasses, and my mom and dad were wearing sunglasses. All my Dutch family, they are not. So I'm sure that a lot of you watching are Italian American, and if you are Italian American, you're gonna do the same. And you know what? Sometimes I make fun. And we'll never forget. A few years back, I was in the metro, in the train in New York City, and I was actually with two Italian friends of mine that were visiting from Italy, Sara and Giulia. And we noticed that across to us there was this very good-looking guy, and he was taking selfie of himself wearing sunglasses. And I remember, without even thinking, I said in Italian, deve essere un italiano, he must be an Italian. Of course, he turned to us and he said, "Sì, anche voi." So I can even recognize from a distance Italian. We always wear sunglasses even when it's not required. And we like to take pictures of ourselves wearing those glasses. It's something that we love. Something very special also that we have. I was talking about Andrea Bocelli. I realized when I met Andrea a couple of months ago when we worked together, I think we had like 45 minutes to discuss music together before the show, and we ended up talking for 45 minutes about love and about life. Andrea started to talk about how tired he was, how much he was missing Florence, and then he introduced me to the little dog, and then we talk about the show, and then we talk about how can you don't miss Italy, and he said every time I'm traveling I can't wait to go back. So for an hour, for 45 minutes, I think of the 45 minutes we spent together, I think 40 minutes we really talk about all things Italian. We, of course, he asked me what I was wearing. I was asking about the beautiful scarves that he was wearing, how many he owned, how many I owned, and of course the dog, and then the food. Of course, he said he didn't have food because he after eating he would eat. So can you imagine? It's really an Italian thing. So, and I think the last 5 minutes I said to Andrea, hey, Andrea, we need to talk about the song. Do we have to sing together? That because I had changed something. So 40 minutes was about amore. Amore for being Italian, amore for all the things we do. And then 5 minutes was the necessity that we needed to say, okay, let's try the things we change. So it's something that we have. And of course, as I said, we are friends and family. That's something that in Italy I noticed myself. I call my friends extended family because really they became like extended family to me. And some of you, of course, I know you personally, and some of you I don't. But you have been with me so often, so almost every day. I'm sure the next time I'm going to see you, I'm going to feel like I know you already. And actually it happens to me sometimes. In my concerts, some of you comes to me and said, hey, my name is so-and-so. I've been on your social media. And I feel like I know you already. It's an Italian thing. And I think it's been also part of all this corona disaster and we had in Italy. That in Italy we really hug each other. We love each other so very much that I think at the end the virus overwin because we were too close one to another. By the way, I see a lot of new people. JJ is making me aware that a lot of people are watching and wondering. So if you have never seen other episode and you want to see more, of course you can always go on giada.life. JJ can put the things underneath. I also want to thank all of you that were yesterday with me at the concert and they donated. I know Elena Beninato did it here in Las Vegas. I'm forgetting now people. I remember Elena. Janet Sessa, you Janet that did it, you are my Italian signorina, so I own you a song next week because you know every time, and Mike and Anna Maria, of course, they raise their subscription on Patreon, so next Sunday is going to be more songs and more dedication for all of you. And what else? And also I want to thank all of you that join me on Cameo for those shout out videos, so you can still do that. So if you have a special birthday or a special something, engagement party of a wedding anniversary, and you want me to surprise somebody with something, of course, you know, you can always go on Cameo. I think it's cameo.com/Giada Valenti, and it's very easy to do it, so I don't have to tell you. So this today, so we talk about all these things about going to Italy, family, so, and I realized actually that I am really Italian. And another thing that was not in my notes, we love to talk. We love to talk with our, yes, JJ is laughing, but it's true, we love to talk. Sometimes during dinners in Italy with my family, where so many of us, and everybody's talking, and I remember in the beginning, JJ was saying, who is listening? And I said, that's a good question. It feels like nobody's listening, but we can understand because sometimes I'm talking to my uncle here, but I can hear my hand saying something else. So when I'm done with him, say, oh, and by the way, you were saying before, that's how we roll. We roll, we can understand. You know, they say women can do 7 things at the same time and men only once. I think that Italian men are exceptional. Even men in Italy can do 7 things at the same time. Because, I mean, and you know, I never noticed this kind of differences until when you bring in your family somebody who is not Italian and they say, oh my gosh, JJ. I mean, we've been married now for so many years, but in the beginning, every vacation was something new. I remember he was also telling me most of the time. He still telling to these days. And I know some of you, Victoria Sampson, she's Italian, and Ron does the same things to you. He said to me, let's say, in an hour we want to leave. So JJ said, okay, you can start your goodbye tours. He called it the goodbye tours because he knows it's going to take me 1 hour to hug and kiss everybody. So while JJ is still having dinner, I'm already on my goodbye tour. So I'm going to kiss and everybody. And I know Victoria, for instance, she's Italian, exactly the same. I remember when we filmed the PBS special, we were still inside saying goodbye to everybody. And I said to Victoria, where is Ron? She said, oh, he's already in the car. He knows that I'm doing my goodbye tour. So Ron was already working in the car and Victoria was doing the goodbye tours. Talking of which, it's Monday, so this was Monday and we were in Rome. We were in Italy, all Italy. And I know many of you said, take us to Sicily, so I will take you to Sicily too. I have to find out all the pictures of when I went there, and I have to take you to Sicily because it's spectacular. And today it's Monday, and you know that Monday night, 2 weeks ago, I had my guest Jim Caruso. You adored him, do you remember? Just to say something, just to brag about something. He worked with Liza Minnelli, Liza Minnelli, who is his best friend. So just to say that. So every Monday night, of course, Jim Caruso cannot do the Caruso Cast Party at the Berlin in New York City, so he does it online on YouTube. It's called the Pajama Cast Party with Jim Caruso. I really ask you to watch it. It's tonight at 8 p.m. He always has amazing guests appearing. Of course, Jim knows all celebrities from Broadway's. He had Christine Albersole. He has Christine Chenoweth. He hasn't had me yet, but he also hasn't had Michael Feinstein. But for instance, I know he's good friends, and you never know. Even Liza Minnelli may appear one of these days. I'm sure it will happen. So tonight, 8 p.m. for you guys in New York City, which is gonna be 5 p.m. for us here in Las Vegas, and for you guys in Europe, you can watch tomorrow on YouTube Jim Caruso, the Jim Caruso Cast Party, the Pajama Cast Party. So you have to watch that one. And I think that for a day I talked a lot. Let me just, before I leave you, of course, I need a sip of my coffee in my special cup. Let me do this because this is better. Yeah, that's the little Giada. I know that many of you bought it already. Be Portnoy, as they say here. We have Neil Portnoy. He's a very famous cartoonist here in Las Vegas, and he has made a cup with all of us artists here in Las Vegas, and you guys can buy it and drink coffee. I know you, Doug, have one. Actually, Susie stole your cup. I want to thank you, Doug, for being an amazing chief editor. We're going to have amazing stories and birthdays and things coming up in this coming week, and guests. Tomorrow, if you tune in, my guest is going to be, we call her here in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas First Lady of Jazz, Michelle Johnson. If you're not familiar with Michelle Johnson, you're gonna love her. I've been here for a year and I saw Michelle so many times, but I mean, she's a sweetheart and of course an amazing artist. So I'm gonna learn together with you more about the person behind the amazing singer that she is. Then on Wednesday, I'm gonna have Grammy-nominated singer, actor, producer Tony Orlando. Tied a yellow ribbon on the hog, yeah. What that, JJ laugh at me because I can never say, but that song he wrote, and so many more. And we are going to discover more about the amazing man that Tony Orlando is. And then on Thursday, my dear friend, the comedian Mike Marino is going to be my guest. We have John DiDomenico last Thursday, which you remember is the good Donald Trump impersonator. And John and Mike work also a lot together because Mike Marino, among the gazillion million things, comedic routines that he does these things that is very funny about make America Italian again. So he does the Italian president, which is very funny. So Thursday is going to be Mike Marino. And without further ado, it's almost time to go away. And some of you asked me to sing something of John Lennon. Actually, I sang it for you, I think a couple of weeks ago. And some of you on my mailing list, they said that song was so beautiful, I never heard it before. Well, it surprised me because it's a famous song. It was written by John Lennon for Yoko Ono, and it was never recorded by John Lennon himself because we all know the unfortunate end of the story. He was killed, so it was released after his death by Yoko Ono in kind of a demo version. But of course, the song is being covered by many artists, and one of them is Mary Chaplin. She did a beautiful version, and it's actually, I read, that is one of the songs that is used the most when people get married. So it's been my pleasure to sing it to you before I leave you. So here is John Lennon, Grow Old Along with Me. Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be. When our time has come, we will be as one. God bless our love. God bless our love. Grow old along with me. Two branches of one tree face the setting sun. When the day is done, God bless our love. God bless our love. Spending our life together, man and wife together, world without end, world without end. Grow old along with me. Whatever faith the creeps, we will see it through. For our love is true. God bless our love. God bless our love. God bless our love. Thank you, John Lennon, for this beautiful, beautiful song. Of course, you guys requested me this song. I sing every time I try to sing songs that I love, and I'm glad that you guys loved it too yesterday. Many of you were commenting about my padam, padam, padam. Well, I will take you to France more and more. Maybe one of these days I'll take you to Paris. I know it's one of my favorite places to see and to go and to spend time. And of course, French music beside Italian music is my favorite. My mom was very happy with Senza Fine. So grazie mamma per avermi fatto complimenti questa mattina. La mia mamma e il mio papà. Sono felice che state bene. I'm just saying to my mother, I'm happy that finally they are doing both well, even though I was unaware of them being unwell. I want to thank my chief editor, Doug, for all the information. We're going to have some special things. And of course, I'm very grateful to Doug because it takes me less time to prepare for the program, because every time I have to do all this research for myself and try to learn songs and see if there's something special coming up. So now having Doug helping me as my chief editor. He's like my human Wikipedia. He just gave me already all the birthday and the events they're coming up this week, so I can prepare ahead. And if there's something specific happening in that day, also musically, I can prepare myself with more than 2 hours advance. And time to remember, yesterday I sang a couple of songs that I learned in the morning. We'll meet again. I sang yesterday of Vera Ling. I've learned it in the morning. So, and actually that song stick in my head, so probably I'm gonna be singing it again. So guys, can you believe it? The 45 minutes are finished, are done. We are flying back to the United States, to Australia, to Italy, wherever we are from. JJ, is anybody there that was there for the first time? Many of you. So guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming here. I love you, which is the sign language for I love you. And so if you're new, today you're friends, but tomorrow you're gonna be family. So I love you guys. Giada here in Las Vegas. Ci vediamo domani. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching for. A domani, ragazzi. Ci vediamo domani. And thank you for having been here today with me. Ciao.
Dear old Dankeschön. Thank you for seeing me again. Though I'm here in my solitude, I know you are there, and in my heart I smile again. And so I sing here in my solitude, waiting to see you, same time, same place, and I can't wait to say again, Dankeschön, 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 dear old Auf Wiedersehen. See you tomorrow. A domani.